The row number on your boarding pass right now might be the most expensive mistake you've made, and you made it before you ever left the house. It's not the airline charging you extra, it's not the seat fee, it's the row itself, and what it quietly does to someone our age over the next 9 hours. A few things have shifted in how airlines build their cabins. The rules that worked for us 20 years ago, they're working against us now. Today, I'm walking you through 10 airplane seats. Seniors over 60 wish they'd never booked. The worst one is the row most of us actually think is the best on the plane. Stay with me. You'll want to hear all 10 before your next flight. Mistake number 10, the back row trap. Here's what's actually happening at the back of the plane. Seniors pick the back row, hoping for an empty middle next to them. The math used to favor it. Not anymore. Airlines fill back rows last, but they fill them tight, and the back row sits inside a noise sandwich most travelers our age can't recover from. Lavatories on one side, galley carts on the other, door slams, cartwheels, strangers hovering at your shoulder for 9 hours. Robert, 69, a retired electrician from Cleveland, booked row 42 on a flight to Lisbon. He told me he didn't sleep 1 minute. Every time I closed my eyes, someone was flushing or coffee was brewing. Lost the first full day of his trip to a nap. Your defense. Pull up the cabin map before booking. Count 3 rows minimum from any lavatory or galley. If the only open seats are in the back, switch flights if the price difference is under $40. Sleep is worth more. I almost cried when I figured the next one out. I'd already booked that exact seat for a flight to Rome. Mistake number 9, the Bassinet bulkhead. Bulkhead, rows look like a gift. Extra legroom, no seat reclining into your knees. Free at booking on some airlines. Here's what the airline doesn't put on the seat map. The bulkhead is also where the cabin crew installs the bassinet, the bracket that holds an infant carrier for international flights, which means if there's a baby on board, that baby is on the wall in front of you. Sometimes 2 of them. Linda, 68, a retired teacher from San Diego, booked the bulkhead on a flight to Rome. I thought I'd hit the jackpot. Then the bassinet went up. The baby cried for 6 or 9 hours. I couldn't move. I couldn't recline. I couldn't sleep. For someone our age, 6 hours of infant crying isn't an inconvenience. It's a ruined trip. Your defense. Before locking the bulkhead, ask the agent directly. Magic phrase. Is this row a bassinet row? I need to switch if it is. Cross-check the cabin layout on a third-party seat map before payment. Most travelers never figure the next one out without a pilot telling them, and honestly, I had to ask a 737 captain face-to-face before I believed it. Mistake number 8, the pendulum position. Most travelers think the back of the plane is the smoothest ride. The opposite is true. The fuselage of an aircraft moves like a pendulum during turbulence. The front whips. The back whips harder. The smoothest spot, mathematically and physically, is the row directly over the wing. That's where the center of gravity sits. That's where the seat barely moves when the rest of the cabin is rocking. 3 hours of rough air over the Atlantic. That's what Patricia, 73, retired nurse from Pittsburgh, sat through in row 38. She couldn't keep her dinner down, couldn't read, I couldn't sleep. The travelers in row 14, directly over the wing, didn't even notice it was turbulent. For someone our age with a sensitive inner ear, this isn't comfort. This is whether you arrive functional or sick. Your defense. Pick the row aligned with the leading edge of the wing. Aerolopa shows this clearly. If you're prone to motion sickness, take Ginger 30 minutes before boarding. The next one isn't really a seat mistake. It's a math problem nobody warned us would change after 60. Mistake number 7, the aisle versus window senior math. In our stage of life, this isn't a preference question, it's a medical math question. You've already had 2 coffees in the lounge, you'll have water on board. The drinks cart comes around twice. If you're sitting at the window, you're climbing over 2 strangers every 90 minutes. Or worse, you're holding it for 4 hours because you don't want to wake them. Window seats made sense at 35. They stop making sense after 60. The bladder doesn't ask permission anymore. Your defense. Default to an aisle seat for any flight over 3 hours, front half of the cabin if you can. If the gate agent gives you any pushback on a switch, use this. Magic phrase, I need an aisle for medical reasons. That's a request, not a favor. They have it noted in their system. Save the window for short hops and naps you actually plan to take. If you fly with your spouse, the next mistake costs you free space you don't even know you're leaving behind. Mistake number 6, the empty middle move. If you're flying with your spouse and you book 2 seats together, you're leaving free space on the table. Picture this. You and your partner walk into row 18. 2 seats side by side. Comfortable. Nothing wrong with it. Now picture row 19. You took the window. Your partner took the aisle. The middle is empty. That middle seat is the last piece the airline assigns. If the plane isn't full, and most aren't right now, the middle stays open. You've just claimed an entire row for 2 ticket prices. Carol, 67, and her husband flew from Atlanta to Honolulu this way. Empty middle the whole way. She told me they slept better than in business class. Your defense. Book the window and the aisle. Skip the middle. If a stranger gets assigned to the middle, offer them your aisle or window. They'll take it every time. Stay with me. What comes after this break is the simplest move on the whole list and the one I wish someone had told me 20 years ago. Quick question. How many of these have you already booked without knowing? Most travelers our age tell me they recognize 3 or 4. If this is helping you fly smarter, hit subscribe. The second half has one mistake almost every senior makes, and number 1 might be the most expensive. Mistake number 5, the 24-hour release window. Airlines hold back their best seats, not for premium customers. For pressure. 24 hours before departure, the algorithm releases a wave of inventory the system was hoarding. Exit rows, front cabin seats, open windows, they appear free for anyone watching at the right second. Frank, 71, a retired firefighter from Phoenix, set an alarm on his phone for exactly 24 hours before his flight to Madrid. Logged into the app, switched from row 34 middle to row 12 aisle exit row. Cost him $0, saved him 8 hours of misery. Your defense, set a phone alarm for exactly 24 hours before departure. Open the app at the minute, not the hour. If you miss it, check again closer to departure. Some airlines reshuffle inventory a second time. If you're at the gate, ask the agent. Magic phrase, can you check what seats opened up in the last hour? What I'm about to show you is the closest thing I've found to having an inside man at the airline. Mistake number 4, the raw data check. The airline's seat map is a marketing tool. It will not warn you about the row that looks fine on screen but isn't. You pull up your boarding pass. Row 24, A window seat. Looks great. What the airline doesn't show you is that row 24 has no actual window. The panel was replaced with a galley wall. Or the seat doesn't recline because it's in front of an exit row. Or the power outlet was never installed. 2 minutes on a third-party site catches all of it. Your defense. Before final payment, cross-check your seat at magic phrase aerolopa.com. The most detailed cabin maps available, free. Also check seatmaps.com for passenger reviews of specific rows. If either site flags your row, switch before you pay the seat fee. For us with decades of flights behind us, this tool should have existed 30 years ago. The next one? A trick most flight attendants don't even tell their own family about. Mistake number 3, the hidden armrest button. Most travelers our age don't know this exists. The aisle armrest on most modern aircraft has a release button hidden underneath, near the hinge. It looks like nothing, feels like nothing. But press it, and the armrest lifts straight up, giving you several inches of extra room and a clean path in and out of the row without contorting your hips. Marcus, 71, a retired engineer from Atlanta, found it by accident on a Delta flight last year. I thought my armrest was broken, then I realized it wasn't broken. It was designed to lift. I've used it on every flight since. For knees that don't bend like they used to, this is a small upgrade that changes a 9-hour flight. Your defense. After you sit down, run your hand under the aisle armrest near the hinge. Feel for a small recessed button or lever. Press, lift, and you've upgraded your seat for free. Keep it down during takeoff and landing for safety. The next one isn't about comfort. It's about whether you make your next flight at all. Mistake number 2. The connection. Sprint seat, 48 minutes. That's the layover Margaret, 70, retired librarian from Denver, had between her landing in Frankfurt and her connecting flight to Athens. Her assigned seat was row 36 window. By the time she climbed over her 2 seatmates, retrieved her carry-on from row 41 because her overhead was full, and made it down the aisle, she had 11 minutes left. She didn't make the flight. Spent the night at the airport. Travelers our age can't afford to be trapped at the back of the plane on a tight connection. The front of the cabin clears first. Every row further back costs real minutes. Your defense. On any flight with a layover under 90 minutes, book an aisle seat in the front third of the cabin. Store your carry-on in the overhead directly above your row, not 3 rows back where you found space. Tell the cabin crew about your connection before boarding. They'll often let you off first. Stay with me. This last one isn't really a mistake. It's the row most of us genuinely want, and the one I think every senior should know before booking another flight. Mistake number 1. The bulkhead storage trap. This is the seat most travelers our age genuinely want, and the one that quietly traps them. The bulkhead row has no seat in front of you. That sounds wonderful, but no seat in front means no space underneath. Every item you might need during the flight, meds, water, reading glasses, phone charger, your jacket, has to go in the overhead bin during takeoff and landing. And here's the part nobody warns you about. The seatbelt sign stays on through any turbulence. If your medication is due at hour 4 and the sign is on, you cannot stand. You wait. Sometimes for a long time. Linda, 72, retired pharmacist from Tampa, flew Bulkhead on a flight to London. Hit 2 hours of turbulence right when her blood pressure pill was due. Couldn't reach her bag. I arrived with a headache that took 3 days to clear. For someone with our medical history, that's not an inconvenience. That's a ruined trip. Your defense. Avoid the bulkhead on any flight over 4 hours unless you're flying business class with cabin storage. If you must book it, keep your essentials in your jacket pockets. Not in the overhead. Magic phrase at the gate. Magic phrase, I need access to my medication during the flight. Can you switch me out of the bulkhead? They'll move you most of the time. After 3 decades of flying, I can tell you the airplane hasn't gotten harder on travelers our age. It's just gotten quieter about which seats it pushes us toward. But there's something else that quietly costs seniors comfort the moment they sit down, and it has nothing to do with the row number on your boarding pass. It's on the screen right now. See you there.